All right, folks, the writing's on the wall. It's me, Jamie Taylor. And surprise, surprise, I hate real estate. I've spent the last, I don't know, since I was an adult, doing real estate in some form or another, which means I almost always have my phone in my hand. And I am typically doing a lot of different things that involve both the good and bad sides of real estate. And so this show, contradictory to the one we might have met on there at Little Rock's Block Talk, is focused more on kind of the dark side of what happens when you get involved in a real estate transaction. So we're just going to get right into it. I find it interesting, my phone again is always in my hand because of real estate, and I'm Googling real estate. It's like the number one Google search, right? But I typed in "I hate real estate" to see what would happen. And it's really funny because that's some of the biggest topics in real estate right now are, what do real estate agents even do anymore? 10 things I hate about real estate, from Kevin Ward, who actually wrote a book about mastermind strategies on how to convince people to sell their property. This one is funny. The idiots are back. I hate a seller's market. All of these different things are typically results of having a less than stellar experience with either a real estate professional or a real estate scenario. So we're going to jump right in here to why I'm creating the show, what the guest panel will look like, and what to expect from me in this area of I hate real estate moving forward. So I'm Jamie Taylor. I, fresh out of high school, moved to Las Vegas, Nevada, and immediately jumped into the real estate industry. I have done a little bit of everything from property management to real estate sales. I've been an appraiser the majority of my career, but the last several years have focused on real estate sales and actually opened a brokerage, closed a brokerage, and went to work for eXp Realty. I know half of you just turned off the show right now. So eXp Realty is a very disruptive company. And I know most of what you hear out of eXp Realty agents, which I used to say all the time, was like, why won't they stop recruiting me? I'm not interested. I can go work for someone if I want to. Stop calling. But they're just excited. They're just excited about what they're doing, just like any other real estate agent is for their brokerage. So they're just trying to get you to drink their Kool-Aid. Now, I have really enjoyed real estate sales, but what I've learned, and mostly because I did have that appraisal background coming into it, is that it's a pretty limited amount of information that you get as a real estate agent when you're starting out. You get a ton of options. You can Google it, like I said, and find a million different places to get education, find a mentor. You can go on Clubhouse. They're always dropping gems about real estate, how to do things. But at the end of the day, you do not learn who you are as a professional or how it really works until you're in the arena. I say that having, like I said, a decade of appraisal experience. I stumbled into the real estate profession, and the first few deals, I was blindsided, not just by some of the unprofessionalism that's out there, but just the dark side. For example, one of the first houses that I sold after I'd kind of built a little bit of a reputation and had a referral base, so people who actually trusted me to sell and buy their property, I had a referral base, a client come into town, and I went through the whole process. We got under contract, bought the house, we get down to closing, we signed the paperwork saying we're happy, we're ready to move in. But we hadn't done the final walkthrough yet. I mean, that was within a couple hours of happening. And anyway, we ended up getting into the house and finding out that there was basically a massive stain on the living room carpet that had been covered up by a rug every other time we'd been to the house. And just oversight on my part and the buyer's part, just missed the opportunity of lifting up that rug and didn't do it till closing day, and that ended up costing most of the commission to get that carpet cleaned. And I don't know that it ever actually came out. So it kind of made this horrible introduction to me of how sometimes the sellers will not disclose things that are going on with the property despite their requirement to. Different states have different rules. Some states are non-disclosure states. And the main thing was that I was kind of just taken off guard, shocked that those kind of things happen, because the real estate industry is in such a bright light. People look at it and they see HGTV, the stories of people like Joanna Gaines, and they think, well, I could do that. I could flip property. I can get a real estate license. I can buy property, sell property, design things. And they don't look at or account for some of the things that are just because other people are assholes. That happens. People make jerk moves like that, and you have to deal with the repercussions and the consequences. But there's also things you wouldn't even think about. As a seller, you've lived in your house for so many years that there might be this slight malfunction you don't think about, and then you sell your house without disclosing it and find yourself in court years later explaining why you didn't expose that or disclose that material fact. And so there's a lot of different facets of real estate. That's the first thing to remember. And there's a lot of different jobs when it comes down to real estate. You can be a realtor. A real estate agent is by far one of the only very few of the real estate estate careers that you hear about are actually talked about. When it comes down to working in the industry, you're going to deal with agents, brokers, appraisers, lenders, title companies, HVAC technicians, plumbers, contractors, the list goes on. So almost every industry touches the real estate industry at some point, even food service. These people are catering open houses and parties for us all the time. So we as real estate professionals have a vast network of people that we're dealing with on a daily basis. A lot of times we can tell you who to work with and who not to work with, the latter being easier to choose. And we really, really, really are, at the end of the day, supposed to be promoting, maintaining, dealing with the public and their trust and helping them make good decisions with their real estate. So based on the fact that a lot of people don't make good decisions, we have a ton of content here to go through and a lot of stories to tell you about why I hate real estate. So what our guest panel will look like, our first episode that includes a guest will be next week, and I'll be interviewing Kendall Grooms. He is an excellent attorney here in our Central Arkansas market area, but also he's going to be assisting me on the show, finding out, is that legal or not? Should they have disclosed that? We're going to interview everybody from real estate agents to inspectors, contractors, people that you know in the business that you think are really awesome or have interesting, exciting stories or experiences that they could share with us. Definitely reach out, send me an email, and I'll be happy to get them on the show. The best way to get a hold of us here at I Hate Real Estate is just to send a DM through Instagram. As we grow the brand, we want the ability for you to be able to reach out and showcase people that you have had experience with in the real estate industry. And for now, that's the best place to reach us so that we can get them on the show and hear what they have to say. So you will, again, hear from industry members across the board from the real estate industry that have insight and experience into some of the dark things that you'll see in this industry. And also, let's tell the stories of lost equity. Let's tell the stories of your first flip property, the time you didn't account for the extra 500 square feet that was missing after the appraisal was done. Any of those things that really kind of shocked you and took you back. And I know that right now in the world, there's enough bad to focus on. So definitely don't want I Hate Real Estate to come across as a negative thing. It's actually exciting for me because all the worst things I've seen in the industry and in life have taught me the most about who I am and how to react to those situations. So I know that other people deal with the same things, and I know that this show will be a success because there's so much to talk about when it comes to real estate, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So you'll hear me say a lot on the show, and I'll say it here in closing. All is fair in love and real estate. I'm Jamie Taylor, and I might hate real estate, but I hope you'll tune in and hear all about it on our next and first guest-filled episode of I Hate Real Estate. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you then.